Hello there, I'm Nathalia Melo, your Unfiltered Fit BFF. Mom of two turned CEO of a fitness empire. Someone who truly understands the struggles of trying to stay fit, sane, and sexy, all while juggling work, life, and motherhood. And this is the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast. Follow along wherever you're listening and join me weekly as I help busy working moms just like you simplify your fitness journey so you can lose fat, regain your confidence, and feel sexy AF. It's time to stop living in the what ifs and hiding from the cameras. It's time to regain control over your body, feel sexy naked, and wear a bikini confidently. People already see you as a super confident woman, but it's time for you to feel the same way too. Come on, let's go. Hello there, fam. Welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast. I'm Nathalia Melo, your host, and today I have an incredible guest. I actually found her on social. People are sharing her stuff, and whenever I heard her speak, and I'm like, she is my people. Straight shooter, not afraid to ruffle some feathers, which I think is very fitting with the name of the podcast here, Unfiltered Fit Life. She's also a strength and conditioning coach, a runner, a mom, a wife, and she has a very amazing story of being a recovering alcoholic and completely turned her life around in her 40s. See, it's never too late. Went from rock bottom to rebuilding her health, career, mindset, and now she helps other women do the same. She's bold. She is real. And like us listening to this podcast, she is allergic to bullshit. Welcome,
Exactly.
Beth. Very excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. We were talking before we started recording, and I was telling you how my head coach, Jen, she sent me one of your reels, not knowing that I was going to be interviewing you this week. So it was pretty cool because I feel like a lot of the things that you say we're very aligned with, like really.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Beth, your story is obviously very, very powerful. You know, coming from addiction to then having a bit of a come to Jesus moment and being like, I need to get my shit together. So, looking back, what do you think that was the come to Jesus moment that you realized that something had to change and that you could do that through fitness?
Come to Jesus moment for me, I guess would be my rock bottom. And that was when in 2015 in August, I got married in August. We were at a anniversary family party in the afternoon, summertime, so I was drinking wine and I had a little bit too much, more than a bottle probably. And that was that was normal activity for me. So this is just my rock bottom part, but there's a lot that added up to that, right? And I drove with my son, who at the time was 3, and my stepdaughter, she's 4, I think probably around 7, because she's 4 years older. And I drove home, made it. Everyone was safe. But my husband, he was like, what the fuck? You know? And I knew at that moment that if I did not handle my shit, that I would kill my kids, kill myself, or end up killing somebody else. It was like I had that really like horrible feeling of like being in prison for the rest of my life because I didn't get my fucking shit together. And that was like, oh my God, I need to get sober. And this was like accumulating over the years. I tried to get sober a lot of different times. And I've also, my disordered eating patterns kind of went with my alcoholism. I think that's pretty common actually. Throughout the years, I would do these weird fad diets, so I would be able to stop drinking. So I would do like the Whole30, and like you can't drink during the Whole30 for 30 days. So that was my thing. I would do fasts, wouldn't be able to drink. Paleo, wouldn't be able to drink. But then I would always went back to drinking, and it was always worse. Became a binge drinker. And so I went to AA every day for a year. There was a church down the street from my house that was like a block away. And I knew it was there, and I was like, "I gotta go there. That's the only thing that can help me right now." I tried to do this on my own, and I can't. I was like, one of the most like, you're always one decision away from a totally different life, and that was mine. So I walked in that room, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this is so." It's humbling, and it's like, I'm fucked up. I need help. It's like the hardest thing to have to say. But it's the best thing I could have ever done for myself. I don't go to AA anymore. I just did it for like that year straight, and I got what I needed, and I got sober, and I felt like for me, I know everyone's different, but I outgrew AA. I feel like everyone kept going in there and they were still stuck. They were still in the same place. And I know you're about mindset and like the things that you repeat, you like you are like for me, I'm like, I did not want to go in there anymore and say, my name is Beth. I'm an alcoholic. I felt like my name is Beth. I'm in recovery. I'm recovered right now. I want to move forward with my life and grow and evolve. Like, I don't want to keep rehashing the same fucking story over and over again. So that's how I felt. And so I moved forward. And from there, actually, I got into fitness. I met somebody and we started running in the mornings before AA. And then she started her little boot camp at the playground. We did playground workouts. She ended up leaving, got a job somewhere else. And so a gym opened up across the street from the AA meeting and I started taking classes there. From there, my son went to preschool and they were looking for a front desk person. And I was like, perfect. My first job out of like stay at home mom, recovery, I'll work at the front desk at the gym and then I can go get my son at noon. And so I did that. And then from there, they're like, I feel like you would be a really good coach. Do you want to start interning? I was like, fuck yes, I would love to. And so I started interning, got certified in nutrition first because that was my main passion. Let's circle back like 20 years, like when I graduated high school, went to college, I was a nutrition major and like I quit college and moved to California. And so it kind of came full circle that way. And I started with the nutrition because from going to that gym, taking the classes, I started noticing things and with myself as well that these women were working really hard and all they kept talking about was like working really hard and not seeing any change. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And then at that same time, I started following Jordan Syatt and I started listening to what he was saying and started tracking in calories and measuring my food. And then I started taking my course and I was like, fuck, all right, it's all about nutrition. So that's how I got started into, the fitness realm.
So it sounds to me this is so incredible. I didn't know your full story, and I know that there's probably a lot more
Hmm.
to it. You probably just gave us a Cliff Note
Yeah.
version,
Right.
but it's so powerful, and it's interesting because whenever you said like we're just one decision away, I think
Hmm.
that it really applies to all areas of life, even
Yeah.
in like in fitness. You work with women as well. I see a lot of times women is stuck in the same cycle. And I'm like, you're just that one decision from literally having a completely different life.
Yeah.
And fitness almost worked for you, like as a escape
Hmm.
from not going backwards.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the thing that kept you focused.
It was, yeah. I threw myself into running. I really got into running. I started doing half marathons, not
Hmm.
marathon, sorry. I trained for a marathon. I never did the marathon because it got canceled from COVID. Yeah,
Stop.
I trained for a full marathon
Oh,
all winter in Maine, right? Up until March, April. The marathon was in May. And of course, everything started getting weird in March, April of 2020. And they're like,
yeah.
yeah, the marathon's canceled. And I was like, fuck you.
No, no, no. We are like everybody showed up. We are having
I'm like,
it.
what? So I'm like, I'm never doing this again. But I actually ended up getting injured. I didn't throw myself into fitness the right way. Like, I
Mm.
kind of overdid it with the running because it was something that it was an escape for me. But then I learned, and that, I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore. So you get smarter, right?
Yeah, well, some people get smarter because I think when you're saying that you overdid with the running, that's something that I see a lot as well
Hmm.
with our members. And oh, it's just my outlet, but a lot of times what we can see is that it's just like a disordered eating pattern
Hmm.
with the running to overcompensate for what they've eaten, which they could get away with whenever they were younger. But now, as they age, their bones cannot cope with that as more like a
Yeah.
lot of stress fracture, and then it just becomes a bit of a mess because they haven't mastered the nutrition, kind of like you were talking
Hmm.
about.
Yeah, and you have to have good recovery when you're running that much,
Yeah. So a lot of the things that you talk about is that, which I wholeheartedly agree. So this is a bit of a self-serving question.
Mhm.
You always talk about how fat loss is boring,
Mhm.
And why do you think that people resist the boring stuff? Because I had James Krieger in the podcast. I've had a few like big researchers, and I always ask about the glucose monitor because I think that is
Mm.
such a fucking waste of money and
Jesus,
time and
yeah.
energy. And I find that people are always the gut protocol, the anti-inflammatory diet, the this and the other. And I'm like, why don't we just kind of like eat like
Yeah.
like quote unquote normal people with staying within that number? Why do you find that people fight the boring and the simple so much?
Because I feel like they keep searching for that there's gotta be a quicker way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, there's gotta be a faster way because this is so boring and basic, like, how can this work? It's like, people think, like, it's so boring, I don't understand, like, nothing is happening, but that's how it works, and this is, like, with anything and building a business, anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's fucking boring, and there's a lot of shit that happens that you have to navigate, right? And you just keep doing it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
stop. And so people stop before the magic happens. It's because they're
Mm-hmm.
consistently looking for some magic fix that's never going to exist.
What do you think that is the boring basics that you think that most people skip? Like that they're like, oh no, that's not for me, or like, oh no, that's not going to work. What do you think that is the biggest one of them all that most people kind of,
The fight.
yeah, like
A
we're
lot of people
skipper, like, ah, it's not going to work for me.
ingredient prepping, like meal prepping, things like that, right? How am I gonna make my food with my kids and my husband? Do you I the number one question is I get, do you how many meals do you make? It's like, okay, here's the first thing. My husband is not a child. I'm not his fucking mother, right? I am my son's mother, so he will make sure to get fed. But also I feel like if I have goals, I'm going to make sure that I'm eating for my goals. Like I don't give a fuck what anyone else does in my house. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like I never understood the women that are like, well, my husband cooks for me. Like, how am I not going to be in a deficit? I'm like, well, you have a conversation, you communicate, be like, this is what's going on, or make your own fucking food. Like, you have to be an adult, take control. It's like the victimization is out of control. I'm done, right? It's you have a choice and you can choose to bitch and complain that you feel like you have to make 8 million different meals or you just fucking do it. That's how I
And
feel.
oh god, like I think I got like you guys are not watching the video, but I literally just got whiplash from nodding here, like back and forth so aggressively. But yes, like
Right?
that, it's like the communication piece. And it's
Yes.
like if you have a partner, which obviously we've come across, I'm sure you've come across women who have partners who are dicks, like who are
Mhm.
not supportive, and
Yes.
they make the choice to stay, and that's not for us to judge. There might be a number of reasons for that. But if you have somebody who is not supportive, it's
Mhm.
clear that they don't give a shit about you. So why are you going to let that person dictate
Yeah.
what do you do with the thing that is going to be like aligned with your goals to become better?
Right. Like you're going to let someone else not let you become your best self? I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. There's something a little weird about that to me.
And because you have a 13-year-old son
Mhm.
as well, and I think it's funny you say, oh well, but about my kids, like they don't eat that. And my thought process is always like, how are they going to eat if you don't expose them to it?
Mhm.
So how do you prep? Because you have a kid, and we're going to talk a little bit more because your
Yeah.
husband also is a stroke survivor.
Mhm. Yep. Stroke
So
survivor.
there is a layer of, there is a lot more that you do. I think that your regular
Mhm.
mom and wife, because your husband needs that additional support. I think he struggles with short term memory
The
and I.
cognitive, yeah. So, like, he runs a business as well. So, he runs a moving company, and a lot of the things that are like on certain calls, I have to listen to and do the numbers and things like that. Like, anything to do with the internet or computer, I have to do, like billing, anything like that. And so, like anything to do with school, that the mental load for me sometimes is overwhelming, but I'm so used to it now. But we just had this, me and my husband had this conversation a couple of days ago, actually. And he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm just really mentally worked right now. I got so much going on. Like Johnny's about to go to high school next year, so I'm getting high school stuff, and just dealing with all the back and forth with the school. There's just with that, and then my own business and writing presentations and shit. And I'm just like, I mentally can't take it. Like, you don't understand that part that I take on.
And how do you stay consistent with, because I think that that's where a lot of people crack.
Mhm.
like work gets busy, there is something with your spouse that is going on that they need your support, and then there is kids, and like the fucking school emails, man, I'm telling you,
Oh my
I
god,
counted
they're
one
out of
time.
control, dude. Ugh.
Within 24 hours we got 9 emails from the school and the school district, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, but
Oh
that's a
yeah.
conversation for another day.
Right.
So how what do you do, and how do you manage to stay consistent and not let the fitness aspect
Yeah.
slip?
It's my non-negotiable, right? For me to be a better parent and a wife, I need to get my workouts in, my steps, and I need to eat how I eat. Um, and that's how I am able to navigate the stress more. I feel like I have more energy and I'm not consistently tired like I was in my early 40s when I was drinking and just not taking care of myself. And I felt like I was always stressed from nothing. Now I'm stressed, but I'm able to handle it because I take care of myself. And I don't think people understand that taking care of yourself gives you energy to handle the shit that's going on. You're not like I don't stress eat. I don't emotional eat. I focus on doing other things to make so I don't do that. Like all that stuff is a stress.
Hmm. And the being prepared, I think that where a lot of people get lost in the sauce is that they think that the being prepared is a stressor, but they
Mm,
don't understand how constantly thinking about what you're going to do next because you're unprepared, how much that
yes.
stresses you.
Mental gymnastics consistently.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Oh, I think you asked me, like, how do I, prep for my son? And I don't
Yeah.
think I answered that, but I like ingredient prep. So I'll batch cook a bunch of things. And so we can all
Hmm.
mix and match. I'll batch cook, like, let's say shredded chicken in the instant pot, and then I'll batch cook rice. And then my son can make himself burritos or, chicken and rice bowls and avocado and
Hmm.
beans and all that stuff. And my husband
Hmm.
can do what he wants. And sometimes he'll go to eat cereal. It's just him. Like
Hmm.
he, has a different dietary like than me and my son.
Hmm.
And that's okay. I think what other people don't understand is that we're all individuals. We don't all have to like the same foods.
Hmm.
Like when we go to restaurants, we kind of all order different meals. So why would you expect your entire house to eat the same foods as you every single time that you're eating?
Hmm.
That's what I think about as well. It's like maybe they don't want this shit tonight, and that's okay. But
Hmm.
also, we are the parents. I provide my son with healthy options and also fun food as well,
Yeah.
you know?
No, it's the same thing for us. And it's funny because my son, he had something called ARFID, which is
Yeah.
yeah, like texture and things like that. So we really,
Mhm.
like, he literally ate 3 things for many, many years: chicken nugget, anything brown,
Right.
bread, chicken nuggets, and French fries. That was like the mo. Not even pasta because it was too wet and sticky.
Mm.
And this is like extreme pick eating.
Yeah.
So like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be living out of nuggets because that's all he eats.
Right.
So we found actually that him watching us eat things, like a variety of things, made him start to slowly get comfortable with trying the stuff rather than
Mhm.
us trying to fit into his mode. He started to
Right.
see everybody else eating everything else, and I think that that's where a lot of, and I think, tell me if you agree with this,
Mhm.
because there is a layer of guilt because I feel like women are doing so much more now, and then it's kind of like their way of feeling less mom guilt is to cater and pander to the kids' needs. Do you see that
Mm.
as well?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, more what they call it, like, helicopter momming almost,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just a little like catering. Yeah, I'm like my son is starting to make his own meals now. We have to teach them how to be adults,
Yeah.
right? We have to expose them to how he's already strength training for like 3 or 4 years now because I exposed him to the gym. I got him into, a personal trainer young. He was already interested because he saw me doing it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I started training him. I'm like, this is not going to work. You're not listening to
Yeah.
me. Like I
Uh-huh.
can't be your mom and train. So I took him to the gym that I used to coach at, and he's been going there for since he was 11, 12, 13. So he's gonna be 14 in a couple of
I love
months.
that.
So he's already been exposed to that, and also like, mom, I need more protein. Mom, is this a good carbohydrate to have before my my gym? And it's just cute. He's
I
just
love it.
learning,
Yeah,
right?
it's the education piece, and
Yeah.
And even with this question that you just put there, like we can tell that he is asking from a performance standpoint and not from a, oh my God, carbs are better. They're going to make me get a big belly, or you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Which I think that that's where the lines are getting blurred with
Mhm.
the social media influencing and the wellness influencing and all that kind of stuff. It's like carbs are bad. This is anti-inflammatory,
Mhm. And then they're teaching
which,
their kids this, and then my son is coming home from school and telling me shit that his friend said about his lunch.
yep.
And I'm like, "Fuck, are you kidding me?" Like, last year, there was an incident. He wanted a Lunchable, and I was like, "Fuck it. I'll let you take a Lunchable to school, no big deal." And his friend's like, "Don't, Lunchables give you cancer." And so he came
Oh,
home and he was like, "Mom, my friend Milo said that Lunchables give me cancer. Is that true?" And I was like, "No. No, you're fine. You don't eat them all the time. You have them like once every other week, if that sometimes." And it was like a
mm-hmm.
whatever. And so he's like, "I'm not going to have this anymore." And so so I made him his own fucking Lunchable. And I was like, "You know what, Johnny? Everything in here is the same thing that it's in that little Lunchable package. It's just out of the package and like now in little sections. It's the same fucking thing." I said, I even put a little candy bar in there, you know?
It's funny that you say that because something similar happened to my daughter. My daughter is 7, just for now she's 8, but whenever this happened was 7. She was 7, so first grade.
Uh
Um, she comes home and then she starts asking the calories on stuff, and I'm like, "Why the fuck do
huh.
you care?" Like,
Right.
my daughter plays soccer 4 or 5 days a week. Like, she is like incredibly athletic, and
Yeah.
we don't talk about food, we don't talk about diet, none of that.
Right.
And then I'm like, and then one day she says, "Oh, if I eat too much of that, I'm gonna get a big belly." A 7 year old.
Oh my God.
The way I lost my mind,
Mhm.
and she was learning in school, yes, health and wellness program was teaching that to children.
Oh my God, I would lose it.
Yeah, I did.
That wasn't just another child, that was one of their programs.
Correct.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I had to go to the school with a binder full of studies to show them how detrimental that was.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was that, and I think that it kind of ties in with the amount of misinformation,
Yeah.
because it was like this woman that was teaching this was a registered dietitian, but like who graduated in 1980 something.
Mm.
So we have a lot of misinformation right now, even from people who are supposed to have the credibility.
Mhm.
So, what has been the most absurd claim? Because I feel like you and James find the most outrageous, craziest shit on the internet. So, what has been the craziest thing that you've seen online recently?
Oh my God, where do I even start? I feel like it's honestly like the cortisol and the inflammation, and it's like, look at my cortisol belly and my cortisol face. And I can't believe people fucking believe this. I don't know if you were following me then, but I think it was last year, and I I made a
Oh,
story,
geez.
and I was like, I said cortisol face before, and I went, and then I said after, and I said, comment cortisol to get my protocol. And I had fucking a million comments in my DMs. Okay. They were serious. I then like screenshot all the DMs and I made a fucking video about it.
Hold on just 1 second. And just for context for you guys listening, when like I went from this, she kind of like puffed out, whenever you're
Like a
like,
blowfish.
yes. And then the other one was like sucking their cheeks in. That was like quote unquote transformation. So you got a bunch of cortisol messages, and then what?
Yes, I got a bunch of DMs that said cortisol. And I said, are you fucking serious? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. This was a joke. And so I made a video about it. I said, this is where we are. You
Hmm.
actually look at this. You believed, like, it wasn't just 2 or 3. It was a quite more than 10 of you guys that thought this was
Hmm.
fucking real. That's a problem. So,
And yeah, and I think I get so like, how do you measure inflammation? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
right,
oh,
right.
I'm inflamed. How are you measuring that? Like, what
What does
markers?
that
Because
mean to you?
yeah, yes, yeah.
Probably don't even know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So fat loss now is like I lost 20 pounds of inflammation. No, you lost water and fat.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the fuck is 20 pounds of inflammation? What are you even talking about? That's
Yeah,
crazy talk. Here,
yeah.
swipe the link for my code to my, happy juice.
it's wild, and it's funny because I was on social the other day, and people are getting so lost in the sauce with twisting words as well, like fat loss became
Yeah,
inflammation, losing inflammation.
right.
No, it is. And okay, so which then pigs back on I'm going to piggyback on this because it's almost what I'm noticing is that a lot of women now are afraid of saying that they want to lose fat. Are you
Mm,
noticing that as well? It's kind of like it's only like I just want to get strong, and I support getting strong, but it's almost like we stigmatized
mm,
so much the idea of losing fat that now we're calling it inflammation.
interesting. I haven't even thought of it that way.
Yeah, I'm noticing
Mm,
with a lot of people that I'm talking to, it's like
it makes
they're
sense, actually, you saying that.
it's like we don't care about the scale, and then in the beginning of the conversation was like, oh, but I gained 30 pounds. Then you care about the scale because you just
Right.
said that you gained 30 fucking pounds.
Yep. Yeah. I just want to get rid of a little inflammation. Okay. What does that
Mm-hmm.
mean? I just want to lose some fat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like whenever you somebody because that's something that I kind of struggle as well because I'm very direct. So whenever you're working with someone and they don't fully trust you yet and they're coming with absorbing a lot of the bullshit that is out there on social, how do you navigate that when you have someone who is already working with you that is like, should I do that detox? And then you're like, okay, let's
We
talk about
gotta
that.
like what is like this good saying? It's like quit doing the same fucking thing hoping shit will change.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get like real here. Like it is not all this crazy ass shit because every day there's something. Every day like clients bring
Mm-hmm.
something to us. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one coaching anymore because I run my team.
Mm-hmm.
But we do that is very common, is we're gonna do like a power hour of bring in all your misinformation that you're seeing, let's go over it. That
Mm-hmm.
was one of our topics, because they like freak out about a lot of that stuff. We have to really walk them through.
Yeah.
Okay, how is this real for you? Like, like let give me some details here. How is
Yeah.
this?
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you think that people are also getting a bit lost in the sauce, confusing, knowing quote unquote what to do because they knowing how to do it because they think they know what to do because they listen to like snippets of information on social or through podcasts, and it's almost like us listening to a podcast by a dentist and being like, that's it, I know how to fix teeth now. Are you noticing that the false sense of expertise?
They just collect information and they never take any
Mm-hmm.
action towards any of the information that they have. They're
Yeah.
recipe collectors, they're calorie calculator collectors. I mean, it's like just fucking pick a
Mm-hmm.
number. You're just sitting there
Mm-hmm.
collecting. You need to take action on something. It doesn't matter what it
Mm-hmm.
is, but you need to do something
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead of
I almost
collecting
feel,
shit.
yeah, I feel like the overwhelming, like the amount of information is making people paralyzed, especially
Yeah.
because there's so much overcomplication of it.
Yeah. That's another thing. Yep. They're paralyzed with
What?
fear because they feel like they don't know what to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I try to drive home the simpleness of it, right? It's really not that fucking crazy. Like you can just start right now. You don't have to wait till Monday. Just go take a walk. Like get outside for 10 fucking minutes. It's like there's no perfect time. What are you going to wait for the stars to align? It's like no, there's always going to be a death, a birthday, an anniversary, a holiday, of, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you should start when shit's fucking like going to hell, right?
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen and you need to learn how to navigate through that.
Mm-hmm. How did you overcome this mindset of extremes? Because whenever you come from an addictive
Mhm.
like a background of addiction, the all or nothing mentality is ingrained in you, right?
Yeah.
So how have you been able to navigate that in your own personal journey
Mm.
in fitness to not fall back into the same pattern of behavior, but now just with a different kind of addiction? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's because I learned from my failures, like when I overdid it with the running, and then I started getting educated, right? When you know better, you do better. And I knew when I was overdoing it with the running that this was something that the addiction part of it. Like, okay, I'm doing this not in a good way anymore. It's like as when you start healing yourself and you work on your mental health, like everyone should do, right? And that's part of this health and wellness journey that what people totally miss It's like, how you handle life and how your all or nothing mentality, you can work on becoming a person that is not all or nothing. And that's something that I had to work on, and I still like that shit creeps in. Even like I noticed with like Ghost energy drinks, right? When I started my bikini prep, it's done now, but I was like, this shit's good. And this shit's like crack. And I could see myself like wanting this more. And I had one every day. I cut myself off at one because I'm like, why do I want more of this shit? But it's like one of those things like you have to know thyself, and and it like the diet coke, it can transfer to something else, but then I always like, okay, you're like, what do you need to work on right now, Beth, where you're trying to gravitate towards fucking three diet cokes in the afternoon? Like, did you not get enough sleep last night? You're tired. It's like you consistently talk to yourself and you know what I'm saying? It's like being mindful, right? Like mindfulness is a consistent thing.
And what I'm hearing as well, a lot of like the things that you're talking about is going back to the root cause, like almost
Yeah.
reverse engineering. So this is happening. And then instead of just being like, okay, let me fix this. Okay, what is causing me to do this? Because
Hmm.
that's where the change needs to begin.
Right. Yeah. And it's always something like that. It's like, okay, how stressed are you right now? Like, oh, you're super hungry. That's why you want the fucking ghost every single day because, you have to really like, why are you doing the things you're doing? Why are you stress eating? Okay, you have to get to the stress. You have to handle that stress. Why are you emotionally eating? Well, you have to handle your emotions. Like, where is this coming from? You have a shitty day at work. Like you said, you always have to like reverse engineer and not just keep going forward into this spiral. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's like, no, you do. You just have to think, sit there, and reflect and actually want to change.
Yeah, I think that there is also a big layer of lack of boundaries, like kind of
Yeah.
going back to, trying to do everything for everyone.
Hmm.
And then it's like, why are you like, I'm so busy. My kids are in 7 different activities. Who the fuck signed them up?
Right. Yeah. Learn how
These
to
are,
say no, right? So many people say like if it's not a hell yes, it's a fucking hell no for me. And
mm-hmm,
that's a motto of my life right now. It's like, do I really want to do that? No, I don't. So I'm
mm-hmm,
not going to do it because then I'll get pissed off that I have to do it. And it's like, well, I don't want to live my life like that. A lot of women just say yes too much to all kinds of shit. You
mm-hmm.
know, Stop
How
saying
did you get to
yes.
this place of, because again, I think, and again, I'm making assumptions, so
Uh
check
huh.
me if I'm wrong. I think that whenever you come from a background of addiction, there is probably a battle of knowing how to trust yourself again. Because the motto has been, I have poor judgment because I keep on doing the thing that doesn't align with the thing that I want the most. And then you start to get yourself on track. How did you get to this place where you trust yourself and your gut to say no, and to be like to have a assurance of the alignment of your actions and your ultimate goal? Like, how did you get here?
I think just being consistent. I mean, that's all, consistent with everything that I've ever done. I follow through. If I say something, I'm going to do it. I've just been that person my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just part of my personality as well. But it's also
Mm-hmm.
a lot of growth throughout the years. I'm a decade sober, so I've done a lot of work, on my mindset and all that stuff. And I think that people don't give themselves enough time. I'm always looking to elevate myself.
Mm-hmm.
We can always become better, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
just the more you focus on becoming better, you just do that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a relation like with your husband? Do you have a relationship where he sometimes has to kind of like that he can check you if you're going crazy about something, or like being two balls of the walls with working out or with work, or with like there is an imbalance? Do you have anybody in your life that kind of checks you back in, or are you your own check and balance?
I'm kind of my own check and balance. My husband will usually just reassure me when I'm like I have a lot going on, or I let him know that I'm pretty stressed right now, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. He's just supportive in that aspect. He is kind of a people pleaser. So
Mm-mm.
one thing about him is that I love him to death, but he kept my drinking going. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to make sure that I was happy because I was a stay-at-home mom, And he was running his full-time business. He's also like a stroke survivor, and so I was taking care of his daughter as well. I'm a stepmom. She doesn't live here anymore, but so I inherited a stepchild, and I had a newborn baby. And so
Mhm.
I didn't start drinking until Johnny was about 9 months old, so it kind of like started there. But he in the winter would snowplow, and so I live in Maine, and I'd be home for a couple days straight with the kids. And
Oh,
so
shit.
he would just bring me alcohol. And so he supported me there, but at the same time, he knew that I was drinking too much, and he would say, you're drinking too much, but he would also buy it for me when I wanted it.
Mhm.
He's that kind of guy, but
Yeah.
he will, he's supportive in the aspect where, we don't are like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't come home at this time," or if
Yeah.
I want to do I'm not, we have a really independent relationship, but also we're really close. He's my high school sweetheart. So I've known him since I was
Ah!
like 16 years old. Yeah.
Oh my God,
We
I love that.
we were separated though for 20 years, and then when I reconnected with him, I was with him for a year, and that's when I had the stroke. So I got back together with my high school sweetheart. We reconnected, and then I lost him a year later. So that was that. I'm still dealing with that part of that loss, because he's not the same person he was,
Yeah.
and that's really fucking hard, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And again, how do you navigate that and, not let that, because again, I think that you have, and I was actually speaking with somebody yesterday. She's a mom of 8. She's a caretaker
Hmm.
for her mom. Uh, doesn't have a great relationship with her spouse. So like she had all the things to be in that state of victim, and she chose to rise.
Hmm.
And I think it's so powerful. What kept you, you know, what lit that fire on you to keep on rising and not let it? Why did it happen to me? But instead, it happened for me with your husband's stroke.
I think because I've played victim so long with
Mm-hmm.
my own addiction, and the people, my dad passed away for 4 days before I graduated high school, and that's kind of what started, that was the catapult of my addiction. It was like I moved away from home, and I started drinking and moved different states and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just getting sober enough, that was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I just know that it's never worth going back to that. Never forget where you came from. I don't wanna go back there anymore. I don't wanna
Mm-hmm.
play the victim of woe is me and everything's happening to me all
Mm-hmm.
the time. I was I'm fucking sick of my own self.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person anymore, because she sucked. She was not enjoyable to be with. And,
Yeah.
I like who I am now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I worked hard to get here. And so the woe is me bullshit, it's no, I want to be the person that handles things when things go bad and not fucking crumble.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but so far so good. But I just don't want to play the victim anymore. I did that way too long.
Oh my God, this is giving me goosebumps because it is like such a beautiful story, which then, kind of piggybacks on something else on the more like technical side of fitness, which is like menopause and the
Yeah.
hormones.
Yeah.
And, you are 52, you look incredible, you have a lot on your plate, and I don't like, even with your content, it's like, yeah, things have changed, but what can I do with what I have?
Mhm.
And how, how how has what have been the things that you have experienced because of menopause, and
Mm.
how have you handled that in like in all levels, like
Mhm.
the energy, the brain fog, the
Yeah.
libido, like all of it? How have you managed that?
Good question. It's funny because I have an obstetrician appointment tomorrow.
Yeah.
In my when I turned 50, I swear to God, the next day I started getting hot flashes. I was like, "What the fuck?" Never experienced anything like that, right?
Yeah.
It was like 50 and the hot flashes. It's like the craziest thing. Suddenly your face gets all red and you start beading sweat. And I was like, "What the fuck is happening to me?" I think that was a hot flash. And then, of course, they started happening at night. And I was like, waking up drenched. I was kind of a bitch a lot. My husband's like, "Wow, your fucking attitude." I'm like, "I know. I can't even stand myself right now. I can't. I need help." Right? So
Yeah.
I booked an appointment with my doctor, and we were discussing some things, and she was like, "I feel for you right now, that birth control would be the best." And I said, "Okay." So she started me on the estrogen, it's called estradiol birth control. And so I've been on that for 3 years, and it worked really well. Like, all my hot
Mm-hmm.
flashes were gone. I felt great. But recently, I noticed the past few months, I started getting nauseous, like, weirdly, almost like it was like a nauseous feeling, and then would go away. It was like,
Oh, weird.
I was still able to eat and all that stuff, and then just weird headaches. And then
Mm-hmm.
my sleep has been kind of wonky. Like, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, this sucks. Like, I can't go back
Mm-hmm.
to sleep. And so I called my doctor and I said, I think it's time to go on estrogen cream and progesterone. And she's like, you're probably right. Because she told me when I started taking the birth control that you're not going to be on this forever. This is just for a little bit. And you'll know most likely
Mm-hmm.
when you need to come off of it. And
Yeah.
so I did. So tomorrow I have a doctor appointment with her. So I think what women need to do is they need to be proactive. And so sit there and be like miserable. Like, you can ask for help, right? Go get your help that you need for you individually, because I don't know what that is. Like, not everyone can take HRT, but maybe you can take something that is meant for you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to suffer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's handle your shit.
Yeah.
Um, so that's where it is right now for my menopause situation. So I don't even know if I went through menopause. I could have in this past few
Mm-hmm.
years because I have not gotten a period because of the birth control is continual.
Oh, I see. I see.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's what's going on right now, is that I've
Mm-hmm.
actually gone through menopause, and that's why my body's like, what the fuck is all this shit?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've also lost 20 pounds, so it could be that I'm healthier as well, which is, hey, imagine that, right?
That was going to be my follow, like that
So,
was literally my next question. How do you
yeah.
think that, because I think that that is like, I love that you're being open and honest about your, being on HRT and things like that. But I feel like women are very like, I'm going to do HRT, but then they don't take care of the lifestyle thing that
Oh,
are also
no.
going to
Yeah.
like they are going to maximize what you're doing with the hormone
Oh,
replacement
yeah.
therapy. And again, you can do a lot of the lifestyle, but you're probably going to do better with the hormone replacement therapy. So how do you find that having already established a healthy lifestyle and not crumbling, staying consistent with it, how do you find that it has helped you, like with the process?
Oh, I think, 1,000,000%. I would not feel this good if I wasn't proactive with my health and stopped drinking in my 40s. In
Mm-hmm.
my early 40s, when I was probably perimenopausal, because I was having heavy periods, and things like that, and still drinking, but that stopped at 42. And so, I didn't really feel any like perimenopausal like craziness until 50. So
Mm-hmm.
I went from 42 to 50 feeling pretty good, I got to
Mm-hmm.
say. And then it was like that 50, probably maybe 3 to 6 months where I was like, okay, this is obviously continuing. So I need to
Yeah.
go. I don't want to fucking live like this anymore. And so I think women are not proactive, they are reactive. And so, they get right into the thick of menopause when shit's like a fucking dumpster fire and try to overhaul their life
Mm-hmm.
rather than being proactive in their, just early 20s, right? 20s, 30s, 40s, and setting
Yeah.
themselves up to have a better menopausal transition than they probably would have without taking care of themselves.
Yeah, there is a lot of data as well on, the excess body fat, especially around your midsection, increases because it almost works as a like insulates you.
Hmm.
It magnifies hot flashes. So,
Interesting. Hmm.
it almost becomes that thing that you're chasing your own tail. Like, what comes
Yeah.
first, the egg or the chicken? I'm having like horrible hot flashes. Therefore, I'm not going to train and eat a
Right.
certain way. But then the more you put on,
The
the
worse it
worse it's
gets.
going to be.
Yeah.
What would be if you could ban one word, one phrase? from the fitness industry forever and ever, what would it be and why?
Menobelly.
I asked this now because I knew that was going to be that.
Menobelly or menopot? I
What
mean,
the hell is menopause?
it's the menobelly, menopot. That's what they call. I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, honestly, it's just a belly. Why are we calling it a menobelly? I mean, it's just, to me, it's ridiculous. It's just belly fat that you don't necessarily have to have. You just are overeating. And because you're going through menopause or perimenopause, your body fat is shifting to different areas. That's what's happening. It's just shifting. It's it's going different places, right? So yeah, fuck your menobelly.
Menopause. You see what I did here? I teed you up with the menopause because I've been seeing a lot of your content talking about that. And I'm like, I think I have a feeling.
Yeah.
That is so funny. And what is one thing that you have changed your mind on? You've been around for some time. Your journey hasn't been linear. So what has been one thing that you used to be like a big advocate and now you're like, change my mind?
If it fits in your macros.
Okay.
Like before I was all about, if it fits, but now food quality is so fucking important. It is so, so important. And I've realized that throughout the years. It's just not about if it fits in your fucking macros. We do need a specific amount of protein and carbs and fats for hormonal health.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't just be like eating highly processed foods all day just because it fits in our macros.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
about feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good, looking good, your health.
So it's more in the sense of like the old school way of like macros, because when you're still counting your macros, you're still counting your macros. But before, I think that there was this idea that the moment that you were doing macro counting, you was going to be like, oh, I'm going to have cake and ice cream because as long as it fits in these numbers, I'm solid.
Right.
And it's funny that you say that because I used to be like, I've had actually like arguments with Lane Norton. Like we would see each other in like different events and we would have conversation. And obviously I would get absolutely destroyed because I was an idiot back then. And he's smart as hell. And because he was trying to explain to me that is like, just because you're doing macros, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be living off cookies. It just means that you can if you want to. And I was so ingrained in the fitness industry, like in the bodybuilding industry, where, you need to eat tilapia and asparagus, otherwise you're a piece of shit and you suck. And so that's one thing that I changed my mind on too. So that's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
What is the hill that you're willing to die on whenever it comes to fat loss and fitness for women?
Calorie deficit, baby. If you want to lose fat, you got to be in a calorie deficit. There's no other way. Like when people like list the fucking things that like, you're not an anomaly, right? You're not a fucking like one person. Like you had someone that like was in my comment section. She was like listing all the stuff that was wrong with her, and that the only thing that fixed her was some gut protocol. And I was like, fucking what? She's like, calorie deficits don't work for everyone. It's like, my God, it's another one. Yes, they do work for everyone. It was what your fucking gut, whatever the hell you called the shit. And this they will be willing to die on that hill of theirs. They will just keep going.
But the problem with that, though, Beth, is that you have people who are perceived as credible. And I'm saying this because while you're telling this, I saw a video of someone who is on this like gut health bullshit, 75 protocol, like steps of the supplement that is like, it's your cortisol. And then here you go, 73 steps protocol that is going to make you more stressed than you are right now. And it's going to solve all your problems. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense, but I digress. And this person was talking about how it isn't about calories.
I've been hearing that a lot. What the fuck is this shit? It's not about calories. I've been hearing that too. It's like this new. Yeah. What the fuck is happening?
And I feel like this kind of confusing information, it is such a disservice to the people who actually need help, because then they end up not knowing, like, where do I begin? Where do I go?
I know. That's why we got to keep doing our thing.
Keep on fighting the good fight.
Keep fighting the good fight. Never stop, right?
I love that. And one more thing. If you could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Oh, interesting. I'm obsessed with my fucking pancakes in the morning, but I do eat those all the time. I do love a good pizza slice, though, I have to say. I do. I do. But I love my pancakes too, my protein pancakes with almond butter and fucking chocolate chips and, you know.
What is your
So,
like indulgence? Like whenever we're talking about like fun meal, what would be the thing that you're like, obviously we're not going to have that all the time, but you're like, I feel like doing that, and that's normally your mo to do that.
I like steak and fries.
Really?
Like a good filet and fries with like blue cheese dressing on the side to dip.
Oh, love it.
Mhm.
What made you get into social media the way that you have? Because I think that you have a very different personality from most women in the fitness industry. Like your style is like very, you have some men that would speak the way that you do, but you don't have a
Mhm.
lot of women, which I'm here for it because I love the very filterless messaging, because I think that that's
Yeah.
what people need. Like how did it happen?
I think it's just how I am in person.
Mhm.
So I know in the beginning, like trying to find yourself on social media is just weird, right? When you first start making videos, like how the fuck
Yes.
do I like what do I do?
Mhm,
How do
mhm.
I sound? Should I swear like I normally do? So,
Yeah.
it took me a little bit to find myself, and there was this one Gary V like YouTube where he was just like press the fucking record button, just say whatever you want, just whatever comes out of your mouth and just, send it. And so I did. I was like, fuck it. And then my video went viral on TikTok, and that's kind of like how things started going. I was like, okay, just be
Mhm.
myself. Just be myself.
Yeah.
And I worked in a bar industry for 20 years. And so, if you've worked in a bar, you're fucking dealing with drunks. And so you have to have a voice, last
Mhm.
call, get the fuck out of
Mhm.
here. You're kicking people out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to have balls. And so I think I'm also from the East Coast. And so I've got a lot of that in me too. So
Mhm.
I think a mix of being ex bartender, living near New York City growing up,
Mhm.
and just being an outspoken person helps. And
Do
I
you get
just wanted
pushback?
I mean, I used to in the beginning, but not so much anymore. I
Mhm.
do get sometimes like, "Oh my god, you're so intense. You swear way too much." And I'm like, "I'm not for you then. Bye." It's, and where I'm not for everyone. It's like, and the people that will be like, you should stop swearing in your videos. You would have more followers. I'm like, I don't want more followers. Like, it's not about that for me. It's about helping people and like actually building my business. And followers, I
Mhm.
don't need fucking 8 million followers for that. If you ask me, the
Mhm.
more you have, the fucking more stress it is on your mental health.
Which is interesting because I actually just did a video recently. You have a 13-year-old son,
Mhm.
and I'm 41. You're 52. We didn't grow up with social media,
Right.
and now we kind of like have put ourselves on social media as, I think that at the time that I got on social media, I already knew who I was.
Yeah.
Like take it or leave it. Fuck it.
Yep.
Like it is what it is. Can you imagine having your whole personality shaped by the opinion of strangers like it is on the on
Mm,
social? Because even for us being old
right.
folks,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? How are you navigating that with your son?
He's not into social media. Like
Hmm.
he doesn't have any of the apps or anything. He likes to play what does he do? He's got these games and he just like does his music. He has this little fucking piano. And he just hangs out with his friends. But he's like a little gamer with his buddies. But he's like not into TikTok or any of that stuff, which I'm like, he sometimes won't even like he has a phone, he does barely even touches it.
I love that.
It's like, wow, I don't fine with me. My husband's like, "Johnny, I tried calling you. Why don't you answer your phone?" He's like, "You never have it." It's like, no, he doesn't ever have it. It's pretty interesting.
I love how you said that whenever you got on social media, you were like, just, I'm going to be myself. Because have you ever met someone
Mm.
that whenever you saw the person on social, it was one thing. And then whenever you saw them in person, you're like, where the fuck is all that personality?
Actually,
Like,
no, I
what?
haven't. It hasn't happened to me.
No,
No, I haven't.
I have.
Have you?
Yes, it's so weird.
I
It's
bet.
so strange.
No, I don't think I have. Not that I can think of.
Yeah,
Not
no, I
not
have.
anyone that comes to mind anyway.
It was so strange because the person was like full of bubbly personality. And then you meet the person like in person.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, kind of like matching the vibe that you know that is going to
Yeah.
come. And then it's like, hey, I'm like, what's happened?
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Very,
That is
very weird.
weird.
I
Yeah.
think it's probably more common with like younger generations. I think because
Mm,
whenever we did get on social, we were ready. It is
yeah.
what it is, man.
It's like what you see here and on social media is like what you see everywhere.
Did you get like with family? Did you like not push back from strangers, but did you get pushback or judgment from family? Like especially because you got on later in life, so
Mm,
it's like, who does she think she is? You know, like posting bikini photos and talking on social media, like that kind of
no,
stuff.
no one's ever
No,
said anything. No,
that
no.
is amazing.
It really is actually. I'm surprised. Like no one said anything. My mom's almost 80. I don't, she doesn't even have social media. So she doesn't even see that stuff. Me and my mom have a really interesting relationship. That's a whole other fucking podcast.
Uh huh.
But yeah,
What do you mean?
she was a nun before she married my dad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Okay, carry
I could
on.
I could write a fucking book. And you know, my upbringing was very Catholic. I went to private school, church every Sunday, Bible school. It was fucking crazy. Um, and she was actually kind of normal back then, right? It's when my dad passed away, she kind of like lost it, got involved in like another church, and my brother is gay. And when my brother told my mother, she almost disowned him. And so they have
Hmm.
this off relationship, and he's like the best person in the fucking world. And it's just kind of it's weird.
Hmm.
Because we have this like surface relationship that I really can't talk to her like and give in details of my life because
Hmm.
she's one of those people that is like when you talk to them it's all about what they're like doesn't even ask me how I'm doing. It's like everything that's going on with her and that's kind of how it's been and so yeah.
It's very interesting because as like I was gonna ask you before whenever you mentioned about like the eating disorder and the like
Mm,
alcohol, because that's one thing that we see a lot um, with ladies is that there is a big correlation between eating disorder and addiction and growing up in what can be perceived as like overly strict or like borderline abusive household
that's
um,
interesting.
because of the loss of control.
Yeah. My mom was a
Like,
consistent dieter, consistently. She was
right.
do oh, wait, she's still like almost 80 is still like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna give up sugar." She like, will give up sugar. She's done Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. She was the cardio bunny growing up, She was
Hmm.
always trying to be skinny. That's what I remembered.
Yeah.
I remember her talking about me in front of my dad, like comparing herself to me, like a fucking 12-year-old. She'd be like, "Your daughter is skinnier than me and you love her more." And I was like, Jesus fucking, like, I heard this shit, and it's
Yeah.
kind of wild when you think about it that, I
Yeah.
had a parent that was comparing her young daughter to her,
Hmm.
at like a 35-year-old mother, it's fucking weird,
And
but
how do you
that,
even process that? Because whenever
yeah.
you're 12, you don't even know like what that means.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like a preteen. I'm like starting to go through puberty. It's just,
yeah.
and I was a very thin child. I grew really tall very fast and then I stopped. Do you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? It's like I had really fucking like the same legs I had at 12 at fucking 52. So
And you're
I
like,
was like,
oh, I got a head start. And then
you
everybody
know,
starts passing. You're like,
yeah,
no.
seriously, like they thought I was gonna be a model, and yeah, like model fucking height. I'm like 5'7". Um, so it's true. I have pictures like, and I'm like sitting on a couch, and all you see is legs. All you see is
Uh,
legs, and you see his little upper body, but then everything else stopped. So
that is so
I have
funny.
long legs, but short upper torso.
That is funny. That is very funny. So you never made that correlation between the eating like disordered eating and the alcoholism with the strictness of your upbringing?
Not the strictness, no. I
Yeah.
never even thought of that. No,
Yeah, there is a lot of it's just that loss of control. It's like a
interesting.
very very common pattern because then you being skinny, it's kind of like I've always skinny is associated with like quote unquote winning,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah,
I'm in control of something because everything else is out of control. Whenever you don't
yeah,
have a say, because it's very strict, it
yeah.
feels out of control. And then that it starts to reflect later on in life with wanting control over other things too.
That's crazy. And then
Yeah.
I had noticed that I always wanted to be skinny like that. Like everyone like idolized the skinny Beth growing up, right? And so
Hmm.
I was grew, like I said, and I was growing out. And I just always would do those fad diets. Like, oh my God, I'm not skinny. I got to be skinny, skinny, skinny. That was like
Yeah.
the thing. Everyone wanted to be the skinny, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So, like you said, it was the winning then.
Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of still is. I think people are
Hmm.
just in a bit of denial right now because then they don't talk. They say it's the inflammation, kind of like how we were
Yeah.
talking about before.
Hmm.
Not as inflamed. No, you just kind of like got slimmer. Like,
Yeah.
Beth, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being so vulnerable and
Yeah.
sharing things about your life that I know that probably now you feel more comfortable talking about, but they're still very, very personal and very vulnerable nonetheless. So I really appreciate. Can you tell everybody where they can find more about you, where they can see your hilarious videos? I love that. This is my anti-inflammatory salad, okay? And it's like literally just a bowl of salad. What was the other one that I saw?
Oh my God, it's so funny. Yeah.
Like something about the morning routine, like my cortisol bomb, and it was the coffee.
Oh, right, right, right.
So funny. Anyway, tell people where to find you.
Oh, Beth Feracco Fitness, Instagram and TikTok, bethferaccofitness.com. And I also have a podcast that Natalia was on, to Cut the Crap with
Yes,
Beth and Matt, that you can listen to on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can listen to a podcast.
love it, love it. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening, and go check out Beth in her hilarious video. Say hello, tell her that you came from here, and I'll see
Yes.
you guys next week. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week. But let me ask you, what was your aha moment in today's episode? I would love to know. You can leave me a comment at the link in the show description. You can also follow me on social media, Instagram. Links are down below as well. And let me know what topics you want to hear more about or who I should have on the show. This is it for today, guys. I'll see you back next week for another episode of the Unfiltered Fit Life podcast.